So over the last few weeks, we've ranked the best airtime moments at Kings Island and at Cedar Point. So today we're going to take a look at the coasters of Carowinds and rank up the best airtime moments at that park. Before we get started, please like this video, please leave a comment down below, let me know what your favorite airtime moments at Carowinds are. I'd love to have a discussion going in the comments below. I'm always open to video suggestions and questions as well. And of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much. We have 16 entries on this list, so let's get started with number 16, which is the launched hill on Copperhead Strike. This moment on this attraction was very, very disappointing in my opinion. It didn't even feel like an airtime moment. The first time I rode Copperhead Strike in 2022, I was really disappointed with this moment, and then a couple days later, I got to ride the launched airtime hill on Pantheon, and that is like one of my favorite moments ever. It's really a shame that this moment falls flat on Copperhead Strike, because the potential was there. But I think it's just a lack of speed, and the launches on Copperhead Strike are pretty slow, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. Number 15 is actually right after the launched hill. It's the pop up into the inverted top hat. Very similarly, it just didn't really feel like much of an airtime moment. It was very, very underwhelming, which is kind of disappointing because you have so much speed coming out of a launch. Like, that might be the top speed on the ride. And the profiling is really drawn out, so maybe that's why. I do really like that it pierces the loop. I really love when roller coasters do that. That's very, very satisfying. And Copperhead Strike does it twice, so it's a really, really great layout. Moving on to number 14. Later in the Copperhead Strike ride experience, you're gonna go through like this whip transition. It is so much fun. If you sit in the left seat, you get like whipped down. It feels like your body has to catch up with the seat, and when that's happening, you're experiencing airtime, so it's absolutely wild. It's really, really fun, but because of the type of element that it is, it can't rank too high when we're ranking airtime moments, because it's very brief. But if you like getting tossed around, this is definitely one of the best moments on Copperhead Strike, and even in the park, those types of wild elements. But in terms of airtime, I prefer sustained moments, sustained with power, and this just isn't it. I consider this like a Maverick transition on Copperhead Strike, so it's just so much fun. It was definitely an element that blew me away when I first rode Copperhead Strike. Moving on to number 13, we're gonna head over to Thunder Striker for the final drop on that attraction. Towards the end of this ride experience, you go through a helix that dives low to the ground and then it pops back up. Then you have one more dip before the final brakes. In the back row, that drop is an airtime moment. Not so much in the front. The front, you'll get airtime on the other side of the dip, cresting up into the brakes. But either way, it's not very sustained because it is small scale. It's by far the smallest scale for elements on Thunder Striker, but it is still a fun airtime moment. Moving on to number 12 is the drop off the mid-course brake run, which happens right before that final drop on Thunder Striker. This one's just a little taller. Unfortunately, on all my rides on Thunder Striker, the mid-course brake run did tap the train, so you don't just fly through it. But it is a pretty solid drop, and obviously it's best in the back. Pretty much all these airtime moments are going to be best in the back. I compare Thunder Striker a lot to its sister coaster, which is Diamondback, and I love Diamondback. And one aspect that Diamondback does do better than Thunder Striker is the drop off the mid-course brake run. Diamondback does have terrain, so you like dive into a valley, so I feel like the drop off the mid-course is taller on Diamondback. But this drop on Thunder Striker is still solid. Moving on to number 11, we have the trimmed hill on Fury 325. This is a very fun moment. Trims don't bother me like they do bother a lot of coaster enthusiasts. I really don't think it's that deep. Like, you still fly over the hill. It's pretty close to the front entrance, so it's very picturesque. You have a great view of it. And I love camelbacks. And Fury just has so much speed. And this is the first like traditional camelback that you experience on that attraction. So it's just so much fun. Before we dig into the top 10, I do have to point out that the 3 coasters that we have talked about so far are the only 3 coasters on this list. We got Fury 325, Thunder Striker, and Copperhead Strike. All 3 of these attractions are absolutely incredible. I already have full review videos for all 3. I also have review videos for Flying Cobras and Afterburn in case you're curious. But Fury and Thunder Striker have the exact same restraint. They got those B&M clamshells, so they're perfect for airtime. They're actually like my favorite restraint ever. And I am a fan of the Mack Rides multi-launch restraints. I know some people say that it comes down on you further in the attraction, which it kind of does with those positive G-forces, but I still think you can experience airtime when the restraint comes down. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Anyway, moving on to number 10, we have the second and third camelbacks on Thunder Striker. These two moments are very, very fun. They feel like identical, even though the first one has a trim and the second one does not, and they're back to back. I love these floaty airtime moments on B&M Hypers. I like live for that euphoric sensation. It's just so fun. It's so great. It's like pure magic floating up out of your seat for that long, and you do it back to back. So absolutely incredible airtime moments. Moving on to number 9, we're going back to Copperhead Strike for the bunny hop. This is like the last airtime moment on the attraction. It's the last element period on the attraction before the brake run. It's a very aggressive, it's obviously not that sustained, but it is very, very powerful. It's almost shocking how powerful it is. So it's very, very, very fun, and it caps off an incredible ride experience. I do think it's really interesting that the last element on this ride ranks way higher than the last element on Thunder Striker. Moving on to number 8, we have the drop into the second launch on Copperhead Strike. This is like twisted a little bit because it's coming out of a helix. It's a very solid airtime moment. It's kind of similar to the final bunny hop because it's towards the end of the first half of the attraction, but it's a very, very strong airtime moment, and it absolutely blows away the launch hill and the pop into the top hat that happened right after it, which is kind of funny. Moving on to number 7, we're going to talk about the first drop on Thunder Striker. This one is very, very tall, very, very fun. It's very similar to the first drop on Diamondback, obviously. So when you're in the back, you just get that pull. It's very, very fun. I will say that that valley is kind of shaky. That's the case for most roller coasters. That first valley can be a little rough, but you know, it's nothing awful, and it's still an awesome airtime moment for sure. I'm a huge B&M Hyper fanboy, in case you didn't know. Moving on to number 6, we have the Stengle dive on Copperhead Strike. So this dives like straight through the first loop, so you have that aspect of being close to track that you've already went through, which is really, really cool. This is a sideways airtime moment. So cool that Copperhead Strike has a sideways airtime moment. When I was watching POVs, I was wondering, like, is this gonna be better in the left seat than the right seat, because the left seat is higher up than the right seat, but I rode Copperhead Strike over 10 times in both the left and right seats, and both times, no matter which side of the train, front or back, you get a solid sideways airtime pop through this element, which is so cool. I'm very glad that that is the case. Because if you look at like a similar sideways moment on a ride like Velocicoaster, I thought that the right side of the train had an awesome airtime pop right here, and the left side did not have anything, so it's a little interesting. But moving on to number 5, we have the first camelback on Thunder Striker. So this one is just a little more sustained than the second and third camelbacks, which is why it has its own spot. It's so fun floating for that long. It does have a trim, but again, it doesn't bother me. I prefer these camelbacks towards the back because you start getting airtime before you crest the hill, and then you float out of your seat all the way back down to the valley. If you sit in the front for Thunder Striker or any B&M Hyper airtime style coaster, you're gonna get airtime about halfway before you crest the hill, and then once you crest the hill, the power like disappears, and then you're just gonna like kind of land back in your seat while you drop back down to ground level. So I think having the best part of the airtime force while you're dropping to ground level is better than having the airtime force rising up into the top of the element. Moving on to number 4, we have another camelback. It is the one on Copperhead Strike. This one is much smaller scale than all the camelbacks on Thunder Striker. It's so much fun. What really blows me away is that the first vertical loop on Copperhead Strike is an insane hang time moment, and then right after that insane hang time moment, you get thrown into a very powerful airtime. So the diversity of forces with a similar amount of speed is absolutely wild. It's very, very powerful. It low-key feels like an RMC airtime hill, which is kind of crazy. So I'm very, very impressed with this camelback on Copperhead Strike. It is so much fun. But moving on to the top 3, we're going to talk about some of my favorite elements that I have ever ridden, starting with the treble clef on Fury 325. This is an absolutely insane element, not only because it's a sideways airtime moment, but because of the positive G-forces you experience while cresting up into it. So the diversity of forces in such a small element is absolutely wild. You go from positives to negatives, and not only that, it's sideways negatives. So you just get thrown out of your seat and then you dive all the way back down to ground level. Even below ground level, actually. You go under that bridge, which is so cool. Sideways airtime is so fun, and just like the Stengle dive on Copperhead Strike, I didn't really notice a difference between the far left seat and the far right seat for the treble clef. I feel like every seat gets a fantastic airtime pop. Obviously it'll be better in the back because you get pulled all the way back down to ground level, but it's still really fun in the front. The front row on Fury also has that added element of just the pure speed of the attraction, because it's so fast. I got to ride this ride in the rain, and that was an unreal ride experience. Moving on to number 2 is the first drop on Fury 325. This might be one of the best first drops out there. It's absolutely incredible. It feels like you're falling for an eternity because the ride is so tall. It's such a large structure. Like, it's absolutely unreal how far away the treble clef is from the first drop of Fury. It's such a huge attraction. It dominates the park and the front entrance, obviously. And that first drop is just an absolute spectacle to watch and to ride. It's so fun. You float for so long. It's just absolutely incredible. But at number 1, I ranked the final 2 airtime hills on Fury 325. Fury absolutely ends with a bang. These are 2 very powerful hills. They absolutely chuck you out of your seat. They're so much fun. They're so powerful. They feel very sustained for how small they are, and they're back to back. So Fury ends with a bang, and it's hands down one of the greatest roller coasters I've ever ridden, which is why it has the top 3 spots on this list. So that is how I rank every single airtime moment at Carowinds. What do you think of this list? Do you agree with my opinions? Do you disagree? Did I miss any other airtime moments on in the park? I don't think I did, but let me know in the comments below. Please like this video, and of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I will catch you later.